Texas. They say everything's bigger here, and they're right. We've got big cars, big hearts, and even bigger steaks. This is beef country, Texas, home to the Alamo, the Cowboys, and the largest military installation known to man. So big, it has a big name. Fort Hood, the great place. It's got a Texas-sized podcast as well. And this is it, right here, Fort Hood's great big podcast. Yeehaw.
Here comes the sun. Do, do, do.
Here
comes the sun. It's all right. You guys don't know that Beatles song, do you? All right.
I think I need to
I know
play
I
that.
can't sing. All right, I get it. All
I
right?
thought we were just making up songs.
No, that's the Beatles,
sun
man.
is out. It's 70 out. Do 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 do.
Yeah, 70 degrees after. I saw a great meme on social media late last week. It said, Mother Nature, -1 degrees to 70 degrees. Texas, hold my beer.
Yeah, I mean, even it was what at PT yesterday, 30 something, 39. I was like, you know what? I'm going in shorts. And I don't even care.
It was a balmy
so
39
good.
degrees.
So good.
Yeah.
I'll take anything other than whatever we just went through.
Yep. Well, you know what? This is going to be a great week, right?
Absolutely.
It is.
Yeah. Well, you look so
As soon as
thrilled
I wake
over there.
up.
Yeah, you look so thrilled over there. What's up with you?
I'm tired.
Why?
Because my son decided to cry a lot last night. I don't know why. My husband says it was baby gas. He's got teeth coming in.
It was what?
Baby gas.
Is that a
Baby
real
gas?
thing?
Yes.
I don't know. When I get gas, I just floof the covers, and it's called the Dutch oven.
Well, we recently switched him over from formula to whole milk, and
Oh.
he's getting his 5th tooth in.
Ooh.
And he's growing,
Yeah.
cognitive leaps and bounds and stuff. So,
It's exciting, right?
yes.
But he
very
keeps you up all
exciting.
night.
Yes. So I'm really tired.
Aren't you guys are switching off a little bit, right?
Ooh.
Huh? Ooh, that was a head shake.
Well,
Can't
I did
hear that one.
last night. I did text him when he was crying, and I'm like, "You better comfort him before I do."
Okay. Yep. Well, we have an awesome show this week. We all made it through SNOVID 21, right?
Yes.
So good.
And we have the director of Fort Hood's Public Works coming in, and the guy responsible for removing snow, besides Mother Nature.
And they
So
did
there's an
incredible
actual
job.
position where somebody removes snow on posts?
It's called Roads and Grounds. You know those guys that run those big machines and scrape stuff and throw down sand and do all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Kelvin and I got that interview though, don't we?
Oh, yeah, let's do
You got
it.
other work to do,
Yes.
But and we also are going to be talking scholarships later on in the show as well. So, stay tuned for all that and much more on Fort Hood's great big podcast.
Hey golfers, are you looking for a new course to play? The Courses of Clear Creek is a 27-hole course with challenging greens located in the scenic rolling hills of Fort Hood. With a 300-yard driving range, 2 putting greens, and a 4-hole kids course, we're the premier golf course in Central Texas. Our pro shop is always stocked with the latest golfing equipment and name brand apparel, while our beautiful pavilion overlooking the course is a great place to enjoy a cold beverage. The Courses of Clear Creek, open to the public, offering annual, monthly, and summer membership packages. Give us a call today at 254-287-4130 or find us on the web at hood.armymwr.com.
It's what your tax dollars sound like. Fort Hood's Great Big Podcast.
And we're back. Kelvin and I are joined by 2 gentlemen from Fort Hood's Directorate of Public Works. We have the director, Brian Dosa, and Jose Ancira. He's DPW Supervisor of Roads and Grounds. Gentlemen, thanks for coming in.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be here. I'm glad the sun is out and the sky is blue today.
Yes.
So, Mother Nature did a number on Texas. Forget Central Texas. Mother Nature did a number on Texas. And Jose, you guys were on the tip of the spear trying to battle the storm. Tell me about how things went last week with snow removal, ice removal, and all that stuff, and what the game plan was going in.
Yes, sir. So the weather definitely took us by a shock.
Oh, yeah.
We came in initially, it was a little bit of snow and ice, but then the snow really came down, something we were not really prepared for. We were able or fortunate enough to receive a salt brine machine that we had.
Wow.
We had planned this a couple months back, finally got it in, and we also ordered some salt brine in 200-gallon containers.
Okay.
So because of the way that it came in overnight, we were not able to brine prior to.
Mm-hmm.
But we finally got the word to come in and start dealing with the ice.
Right.
Well, when we took care of the ice that one day on Thursday, Friday morning, it snowed.
Right.
So that was a different challenge. So we waited for a little while, got the word to come in, and we finally came in about 9 o'clock and started taking care of the snow.
Yeah.
We started removing it with engineered construction equipment.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yes, sir.
So you got help from 36 engineers?
No, sir. We have that equipment ourselves.
Okay.
In DPW.
Okay.
Our shop has a lot of road construction equipment.
All right.
So instead of using the contemporary sand that we're supposed to use
Right.
to remove the snow, we started using motor graders.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. And that helped out?
It did. We were able to move the snow from the inside of the lanes to the outside of the lanes.
Right.
To provide trafficability for ourselves and the rest of Fort Hood. And then once we removed the snow, we started applying our sand.
It had to be easier for you when it was just Mission Essential folks coming in. There wasn't a lot of traffic. That was actually a good thing for your crew, right?
It was an excellent thing, yes, sir. So because of the volume of personnel that Fort Hood has,
Yeah.
it's a challenge even right now. Right now we're on the reverse side of the snow removal. We're doing the street sweeping.
Okay.
And it's a challenge maneuvering with all the traffic.
All right. Street sweeping. You brought it up. And we'll just stick with it.
Yes, sir.
Stick with the thought. You said you were dropping some salt. You also put sand down, and that's what you're sweeping up, right?
Yes, sir.
How much sand did we dump on Fort Hood?
It was roughly about 150 tons.
Uh-huh.
Well, I've been saying I've been missing the beach, so I'm all about it. That's a lot.
Yes, sir. So volume-wise, you're probably looking about 20 foot in height by about 30 foot in base.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow. And that's that's the cantonment area, or that's all over?
It would just be the gates.
Yeah.
All the gates coming in, a few major intersections, the hospital and the fire departments.
Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Mr. Dosa, how's your day?
Good morning. I'm doing great. Just to follow up on Jose, I just couldn't be prouder of Jose and his team. And they had to get up and get out of their own houses, their own neighborhoods to
Right.
actually get in.
Right.
So that many folks couldn't even get out of their neighborhood. And we're saying, Jose and you guys get into Fort Hood as quick as you can and get working on the roads. And they did. And it was pretty amazing. A lot of them, live like we do, all, Gatesville, other places,
Right.
and had a long drive to get in, and they were able to do it safely. And so my hat's off to Jose and team. Wonderful work.
How many folks make up the roads and grounds?
Sir, we have 32 personnel. And that's a great point, Mr. Dosa. We do have approximately 9 personnel that do live up north. And
Wow.
so we had to do some readjusting. Those guys are definitely on our essential personnel list, but due to the fact of not being able to get in,
Sure.
the 3 northern routes on Fort Hood were all closed off due to the inclement weather and ice.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we had to readjust and bring people in that we normally don't use as mission essential.
Wow.
And that also changed day to day.
Yeah.
As the snow went away, the ice came in from one day to the next. So the person we used on one day, we couldn't use the next for those reasons.
I got to ask you, when Mother Nature finally helped you out on Sunday and brought in 70-degree weather, all my snow, even the stuff from my driveway that I piled up 3 feet high, was gone. You can breathe a sigh of relief now?
It was tough to see that all the work we had done had just gone away.
So you were disappointed to see the heat come in?
Because no one else was able to see what we've done,
All right, Mr. Dosa, from looking at Fort Hood and last week and Texas as a whole, I mean, how did we do?
So, I've lived in Texas for more than 20 years, and certainly an unprecedented amount of snow and ice and cold weather for an extended period. I have never seen anything like it. And, so it obviously hit the state of Texas and Central Texas in particular extremely hard. But really, on Fort Hood, we did pretty well. I think we are very, very fortunate in that we never lost power, electricity to Fort Hood writ large. We had a couple of times where we had, an individual transformer or something blow out, and we're able to get out real quickly and get it responded. But we never lost power. We never lost natural gas. And most of our buildings on Fort Hood are heated with natural gas.
Right.
Sometimes when the temperatures get really low, the pressure in the lines can be a concern, but we were able to keep the pressure and keep our natural gas flowing. And then water, incredible. I mean, we never had to go to a boil water notice
Right.
on Fort Hood. That means we never lost pressure in our lines. And I'd just like to publicly thank and recognize American Water.
Mm-hmm.
We privatized our water wastewater systems about 10, 11 years ago.
Sure.
And they're our partner, and they helped us and worked extraordinarily hard to identify and to correct leaks, fix broken lines so that we could keep the pressure here on Fort Hood and not have to go to boil water notice. And so, for example, we had 16 major water mains that were broken and repaired. So I'm talking
Wow.
like 8 to 10 inch lines that carry.
During the storm.
Yes.
Wow.
That we were able to identify and get repaired, so that we could cut our usage. So normally, on a winter's day at Fort Hood, we would consume about 2 million gallons of water.
Right.
Because of the cold weather and the broken pipes and all the bleeding of water, we actually went up as high as 13 million gallons.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's more than 6 times our normal amount of water.
Which, hence the, hey, guys, can you conserve a little water for us?
And it wasn't that folks were just really thirsty and they were drinking from a straw, So, I mean, it was major leaks and water pouring all over the ground.
Sure.
And we've steadily chipped away at that to the point where yesterday we were at 5.4 million gallons.
Okay, so
You know,
you're,
so
all,
we're-
you're almost back to
significant
normal.
improvements, almost back to normal.
Right.
So I think just looking back, I think we were very, very fortunate on Fort Hood, and certainly because of a lot of hard work on folks' parts, we were able to weather the storm.
Yeah.
So to speak.
So, I mean, like you said, it was unprecedented. Me and myself, this is my second time living on Fort Hood, 7 years. Never seen anything like it. And I know you guys have done a lot to restore, the damage. But what should people understand? We haven't seen anything like this before. You guys have been working around the clock. What can they expect for issues that still might be going on?
Yeah. So our biggest challenges that we have right now is we have some pretty major outages of heat, and we've got some areas that are still cut off from water. So to try to get our water demand from, I said it peaked out at 13 million gallons down to something that's more manageable, like 5.4, we had to take certain areas of Fort Hood and completely cut the water off because we knew we had some major leaks in those areas. So there's some areas of Fort Hood that currently don't have water, and now we're in the process of restoring that water.
And that's not where people live.
Correct, Dave.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks for that. So we didn't lose water to any of our 12 different family housing villages, so they all maintained water.
Okay.
We did have a couple barracks that lost water, and we've been up and down with those. We had one over in 1st Brigade, 1st Cabs area that was restored this morning.
Okay.
Building 41,008, and so we're restoring water. So that's something that people are going to see in the short term. And then I think the weather is actually, playing in our favor here. It's our friend. So heat. We still have heating outages in a number of places across Fort Hood, particularly a lot of barracks. But really, we're not in heating season anymore, so the weather's pretty mild, and it's going to get rainy and cold, I think, on Thursday. But
the day this show drops,
I think the weather's going to prove to be our friend going forward because we still have a lot of heating. And then beyond that, we've got some damage, so some water damage that was done in buildings. It's going to take us some time to scope that damage, get contracts in place to actually come in and fix it and actually carry out the work. So that's going to be the longest pole in the tent, to be honest.
So the end of the week is out of the question. So people just realize they're doing all they can. If there's a problem identified, they will get to it as quick as they can, but there will be a process to it.
Yeah, thanks for that. And
Mr. Dosa, you mentioned 41,008. We're currently taking water to that building.
Yeah, thanks,
Yes,
Jose.
sir.
Up this morning. Yeah, we got bottled water. So since we had cut water to that building, we've got
Sure.
bottled water going over to the soldiers that are living in 41,008. So
Perfect.
yeah, thanks
Perfect.
for that.
That whole some things are going to take a while. Maybe you want to go into that and this week, next week, is any of this going to carry over longer than a couple of weeks? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that doing the actual cleanup and damage recovery is going to probably take months, not weeks. And what I'm talking about is going in and maybe having to replace the flooring or the sheetrock in a building or tearing out insulation. We're going to get our priorities are to address all the water leaks and to repair those, to get our fire suppression systems back on so our buildings are safe, and then to make sure that we get our heating and our hot water up in all of our facilities. Those are the priorities, and then we'll get to the actual cleanup of the facilities themselves.
Sure.
Yeah. So we've got some contracts in place now, Dave. We this morning we had 7 barracks over in the 87,000 block that because of the storms lost heat and hot water.
Right.
That happened Saturday night. We were able to come in and do a temporary fix to get it up partially. But now we have a contractor that's on the ground this morning doing that repair. It's going to be a couple days, maybe as long as the end of the week to get the repairs done. But we've already got contractors mobilized. We're already working to fix broken heat and broken hot water.
I think for folks, because there is this small section of the installation where we put out a boil water notice just for this targeted area or areas. Maybe if you could explain to folks how we know whether or not we have to put out a boil water notice and when you can lift it.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Great,
Yeah.
Dave. Thanks. Great question. So when you lose pressure in the system, then by state regulations, you have to, when you restore the water, you have to boil the water until you can get a clear lab test. So out in the community in Killeen and where I live in Harker Heights, those systems lost their pressure. In my house in Harker Heights, we actually had no water Friday night through about midday Saturday.
Right.
And then when the water was restored, we're under a boil water notice. And that's just to make sure that any bacteria that's in the water is killed. So boiling the water will kill that bacteria.
Sure.
And so, as I described earlier, we've got several places on Fort Hood where we made the determination to cut off the water in order to just cut our consumption and to be able to isolate where we had major water leaks. As we return those buildings back online, so for instance, today, the Mission Training Complex, that's the big building that is kind of the center of action for the warfighter exercise. They've been without water for about a week. They had a fire suppression system break. One of the sprinkler heads broke, and they had a small leak, a small flood in the building, not a terrible lot of damage, but we did cut the water. So we're restoring the water back in that building today, and then they'll go on a boil water notice. So we'll say, hey, don't drink the water or use the water in the building for hygiene until we've repressurized the building, and then we're going to take some samples, water samples, send them to the lab. The lab will say, hey, there's no bacteria in the water, it's safe to drink. Then we'll lift the boil water notice, and the MTC then will be able to use the water for drinking and personal hygiene.
What's a typical turnaround with the lab work and all that?
I think there's a lot of folks obviously trying to get those samples in. So I think we're looking at more like 72 hours, about 3 days. Typically, it was probably more like 24 hours to get lab results back. But just given the workload at the lab, we're probably looking at 3 days turnaround. So I think restore the water today. I think we're optimistic by the end of the week we should have cleared the boil water notes in the MTC, for example.
Thank you for that, because that's very interesting to me, because I still live in Killeen, and we are under the boil water order still, and I'm really not going to take a chance. So until they lift it, I'll never take a chance with bacteria. So that's very interesting hearing you talk about the time frame.
So, closing thoughts, gentlemen?
I'll just close by saying I couldn't be prouder of the entire garrison team and particularly our DPW team. And we had so many folks that were living through a personal tragedy with no power, no heat, maybe no water at their house, and yet they were still working either remotely or coming into work in order to help us fight through this situation. And I could just go on and list all the different people that did that. So I couldn't be prouder of the team. Great effort, and I think again we were very fortunate in that we didn't lose power and we didn't lose water here at Fort Hood, but we got a little ways to go getting the recovery in place.
Absolutely. And Jose?
Yes, sir. I would like to thank all of our personnel. They were definitely dealing with either loss of power or loss of water, and or both. But they still would come in, and the rest of the DPW team. I would like to say a special thanks to all the ladies at the work reception desk. They were really awesome. They were under a lot of stress, but they never stopped. They never folded. And special thanks to them and the rest of our OMD team.
Yeah, no, that's great, Jose. I mean, so when you call 287-2113, the person that answers the phone, or if you submit a work order for a barrack using ARMA, using the app, the person that's receiving that work order request are work reception.
Right.
And I think we have all ladies. So I think those ladies, as Jose said, were operating under tremendous stress. And again, they had personal crisis at their home, but they were here at work and they were answering the phone and 24/7. We actually went, on a normal day on Fort Hood, we would get about 40 priority one work requests. We had several days that we were in the hundreds. We had one day that we got 400
10 times
priority
the normal
ones.
amount. Wow.
So the phones were incredibly busy, and those ladies did a great job. So, Jose, thanks for that.
Well, you guys are definitely rock stars in my eyes.
We thank you all.
Absolutely.
Great to be with you this morning.
We will be talking about scholarship opportunities. We'll do that
Cha-ching.
after this.
Let your voice be heard at BOSS.
What's BOSS?
BOSS stands for Better Opportunities for Single Soldiers and serves the single service member community, active, guard, and reserve, as well as single parents, geographical bachelors, all U.S. military service branches, and foreign service members assigned to the installation. The BOSS program is based on quality of life, community service, and recreation and leisure. As a member of BOSS, have a voice in how you live, how you spend your leisure time, and how you support the community around you. BOSS membership and the program's available leadership and project management roles also will enhance your promotion package. For more information about how you can become a BOSS member, visit our website at hood.armymwr.com.
Fort Hood's Great Big Podcast. Close enough for the government, good enough for you.
Welcome back, everybody. We just heard the good things that DPW and our Warriors on the Road did to help our soldiers and families here on post. Not only get on post, but also kind of make sure that their winter experience wasn't that bad.
We're not alone now, are we?
We're not alone because Melissa is here.
She didn't have to get off post to get back on, so you don't have to deal with the gates these days,
No,
do you?
I do.
Don't get me started.
I live on West Fort
Oh,
Hood.
yeah, she's on West Fort Hood.
Well, then you know my...
Yeah, but you're coming through Clear Creek. How bad is that?
Awful.
Awful?
So I leave super early, right? I always leave between 8 and 8:10.
It's not enough now.
No, because the traffic is so backed up. It took me 30 minutes to get through the gate. So now I'm just going to go the back way.
Okay. Hey, it's an hour from Temple, and that's if I leave early.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
Kelvin, do you
That's
have
me.
any school-age kids? Well, not school-age. Sorry, my bad. College-age children.
No, but my dog is pretty smart. If that counts. Dogs are like teenagers, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, well,
no?
my dog is worse than my toddler, so.
Oh, I believe it. I have a Chihuahua too, and that's, we'll say that for another day. But she's very chaotic.
What about you, Dave?
I got a kid in the master's program right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm old.
You're not old.
For all of those people out there.
60 this year, man. I got you beat by a ton.
The Golden Girls were much more advanced than you.
Well, you know you're old if you're comparing yourself to Betty White. You know,
she's a natural treasure, Dave.
Yeah, I know. You shout out at her birthday a couple of weeks ago.
Shout out to Betty White.
For all of those members, military members, family members that are in college, we have Amy Yazzie, the president of Fort Hood Military Family Member Scholarship Fund. Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Yeah.
I'm excited to be here.
You guys have been doing this a long time, haven't you?
They have since 1985. We
Ooh,
have been our
team.
own separate entity here on Fort Hood.
85.
Have you been working there since 1985?
No,
Yeah,
I
I'm
am
the only
not.
one that could have been old enough to do that in this room. I mean, come on. Yeah, no, really. You guys, since 1985, how many scholarships are we're talking about? High school?
Correct.
Who is it open to?
So not only high school seniors, and of course those are all military dependents, but also all of our sweet military spouses that are looking to get their bachelor's degree or some type of trade degree, as long as it's going towards a 2 or 4-year degree.
Okay.
Trades are the way to go right now.
I'm starting to think the same way.
Uh-huh. So how many scholarships last year?
So last year we did 24 high school students and spouses were awarded a total of $61,000.
That's that.
Cha-ching.
Uh-huh.
A lot.
That is helpful.
Yeah, even in the middle of COVID and everything that went down, we somehow pulled that one out of our hat.
So the application window, and the main reason why you're on the show today is to talk about where folks can go,
Yep.
and the fact that the application window closes fairly soon, right?
It does. It closes March 5th. And we opened it up a little bit earlier this year,
Right.
just to give them time to, with COVID, things are just taking longer for a lot of the applicants, getting documents, things that traditionally have just been, I'll waltz in the office and I'll get it in 30 seconds and be on my way. So we did open it up earlier, but our deadline is March 5th, and they can go to www.fhamfmsf.com, which of course stands for Fort Hood Area Military Family Member Scholarship Fund.
Okay.
I know it's a mouthful. They just download the scholarship application from there, fill it out, and then they send it back to us.
How are you guys doing as far as applicants this year?
We really have not got that many applications in.
So,
Yeah.
you got a good shot to score some money, right?
Absolutely. And that's really was the case last year too. I think with just COVID and things changing, things have been a little bit slower. And historically, because we're all procrastinators, we typically get most of the applications in right before it's due. And I'm sure it'll be the same this year. But definitely it would be well worth anyone's while that is, in that category.
High school seniors and family members.
Yes, or and
spouses.
Spouses as well as the high school seniors. They are more than welcome. Get it in because you have a really good shot.
Nice.
One other thing, all right, you don't create, the money doesn't grow on trees, so you have partners that help you make this scholarship fund a reality. Why don't you go into how that works?
So we actually have a grant writer chair, and this year we have an amazing spouse, Katie Wayan, who actually has a master's in grant writing and works at a college. So she's all about education.
Right.
She has been hustling very, very hard. And then we have these lovely partners that every year typically help us out. Those being, of course, Fort Hood Spouses Club, as well as all of our friends over at the Fort Hood Thrift Shop. So every year, those two are our major donors. And then, of course, Katie's role is to go out, and she's been doing such a great job just finding little monies here and there with some of our other new partners that have come aboard as of last year when she joined the board. And like HEB was one of our new partners, Walmart,
Nice.
Just certain stores, Walmart, and they've really been supporting us here in the community, and we couldn't be happier.
Okay, for you personally, how does it make you feel when you can hand out those scholarships beginning, and by the way, the deadline's March 5th, but when do you award the scholarships?
So typically 45 days after we close the application process,
Okay.
we contact the applicants to let them know that they have won a scholarship, and then they find out the amount at our ceremony every year.
So they
Yes.
don't know
Right.
until the ceremony.
Right.
What is a typical typical amount for your scholarships?
So last year we did anywhere from $1,000 all the way up to $6,000. So
Holy moly.
Yeah.
$6,000? Wow.
Goes a
Yeah.
long way.
yeah, so it really does. That's why it's well worth their while to get in there and download that application and get it in right away. And you were asking how I felt
Yeah.
when we did it. Honestly, so last year, of course, it was COVID. So we contacted everybody by
Oh, yeah.
telephone. Yeah. And we ended up doing a virtual ceremony instead of our typical face-to-face ceremony.
Right.
But I'm not joking when I tell you, like, I was crying on the phone.
Yeah.
Every student we were calling, and they're crying. I'm crying. Our other board member was crying. I mean, it's really amazing to give somebody that gift. And
Sure.
especially with, our spouses and our high school seniors, this is life-changing to get your degree as a spouse and become a two-income family, or to be a high school senior and, decide that, hey, I'm going to go out there and this is just the beginning and I'm going to go get my degree. It really changes families and their future, and it's just such a rewarding moment to be able to help just a small part in that.
Anything to keep down that student debt, right?
Yes.
is a help.
Yes, absolutely, especially in today's day and age.
So any chance that you guys will do a actual ceremony, or are we still in COVID protocol?
So we just voted earlier this year Actually, we have voted to do that virtual ceremony.
Right.
And we've got a couple board members that, even with PCS possibly coming up and myself included, we just decided everybody was so devoted to this board that we would just vote to do a virtual because we didn't know what would happen.
Right.
And that no matter where we land in the U.S. with or Oconus,
Right.
that we would go ahead and do that virtual ceremony and our board would stay on till the end of the year.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. One more time with that website where folks can download the application. Please go ahead.
Yes. www.FHAM as in Mary, FM as in Mary, S as in Sally, F as in Frank.com. So FHAM.FMSF.com. If you forget it, you can go on our Facebook site, Fort Hood Scholarship Fund, and it will be on there.
Boy, that's easier to remember. Facebook, Fort Hood Scholarship Fund.
Yes.
Go there.
Yeah,
Check
and it'll
it out.
redirect them to the website to apply, but it'll at least give them the information. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Why did I ask for the website? Okay. Check it out on Facebook. Like, we're promoting this show, right? Okay. Amy, thank you very much for swinging by.
Absolutely. I just so appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity. We really believe in what we do.
And hopefully the numbers go up this year.
Yes,
right?
Yay.
24 last year?
Yes, 24 last year. I'd love to see more or
bring
even
that
larger
number up.
scholarships.
There you go.
Right.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you for joining us, and we will be right back
Yeah, we
after
will.
these brief messages.
Thank you all.
Where do you go to get the latest news from Fort Hood, Texas?
The Fort Hood Sentinel.
And where do you go if you want ideas for things to do in Central Texas?
The Fort Hood Sentinel.
What if you don't have a copy of the Fort Hood Sentinel?
Then I go to my local newsstand and pick up a copy, or go online to www.forthoodsentinel.com.
The Fort Hood Sentinel, Fort Hood's premier place for news and Central Texas information, standing watch since 1942.
Masks on for safety, masks on for safety. In the store, we walk in the door. Masks on for safety, masks on for safety. Day or night, do what's right.
Look, bad jingles aren't going to stop the coronavirus, but wearing a mask or a face covering can help lower the chance of infection or spread. So do your part and mask up. Or we may just have to keep singing.
Masks on for safety, masks on for safety. Be a mouth and noser, or else you're a poser.
Do what's right, save a life, wear a mask.
Got a problem? Write your congressman. Fort Hood's Great Big Podcast.
Well, that was kind of cool. Talking scholarships. All right. We got to throw this around the room. I have some very highly educated folk in this room, don't I?
Yes.
Educated in the streets, yes.
Okay.
Street smart.
Street
Street smart. Okay.
I'm book smart.
Yeah. So, Melissa, you have your what?
I have my master's
In what?
in psychology.
Master's in psychology.
Get out of my head.
So it was supposed to be industrial and organizational psychology, which is psychology of the workplace.
Right.
But
So are you studying this while we're sitting around this table?
it's used more to help with change in the organization, and or people use it to prevent workplace violence and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, well, looking at Kelvin, you never know, right? Okay, so back to the scholarship theme, though. A master's in psychology. Did you take up a lot of student loan to get there? No, really? Tell us how. Our listeners are going to want to know.
So I started when I first joined the military. I used my TA.
Oh.
There you go.
Yes.
Wow.
I only had to pay for the last half of my master's degree.
Really?
And when you're in your master's, it's really hard to get grants and stuff. So you
Right.
can only pay for it by a loan.
Right. Re-up for the benefits, right? Huh?
That TA.
Indeed.
What about you, Kelvin?
I'm going to have a associate's in general studies, and I'm so close to finishing my communication and marketing degree. but it's just slow going. I probably need about, if I'm doing the math, 10 more classes.
Yeah,
But-
night school kicks your, you know what?
It's just, it's a whole thing. You know, I'm taking 2 right now, a speech class and a communication studies class. It's just, and the one teacher, she's so extra.
But you know what? When you finish your degree, you're going to be like, what am I going to do with all my free time?
I'm going to be thinking, well, what am I going to do with this thing? What I've been through in life should be enough. But, you know, I'm going to get this piece of paper. I will. I'm determined. And yes, I'm not going to say her name, Professor. I did cite the sources on my last discussion question. So we can put that to bed. Man.
So
I remember those days.
honestly, is it just me? But of course, I had a frozen house, you know, for a week. But
I'm sorry.
Having 70 degrees hit on Sunday, and then the way it's been, it's a little chilly in the morning, but it ain't freezing. Man, I just feel great this week. How about y'all?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, considering
You're
that we
tired,
just
but get over
came
it.
out of a, deep winter freeze. It is very nice outside. I'm very happy to see the sun. Very happy that mail is coming in, and then my kids get to play outside. Yes. It's a win.
Yeah.
I love the weather. I mean, it messes with my hair a little bit.
What hair?
But one thing I did notice with the nice weather, soldiers start to drive crazy. And I was crossing the street yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day. Trying to cross the street. This soldier, I do this thing where I like to be sarcastic when you don't let me. Hey, it's common decency. Can you please stop your car and let me? What? You're blatantly speeding anyway. So look, guy, slow down. Let me cross. So the soldier doesn't let me do it. So as he's passing me, he's got his windows down. So I'm like, thank you. And do you know what this soldier said back to me?
Huh?
You're welcome. And I almost chased the car down, but I woosah'd and I woosah'd again. And then I laughed a little bit, but deep down inside, I was still mad. But today I feel good.
Pay attention to those.
Long story short, I feel good today. And
Well, there you go.
pedestrians cross the road.
Pay attention to those soldiers crossing signs.
Yeah.
But also, barrack soldiers, walk with a purpose across the street. I don't want to stop to let you across just so you can go slow across. Because, I mean, I'm always going to let you cross the street, but I may have a quote or two to use while I'm inside my car if you don't hurry up.
Yeah. You see that a lot around Motor Pool Row.
No. Don't get me started.
Is you got the parking lot in the middle, in the middle island, and then you catch it just right, and you're going down Old Ironsides.
That's right. But I will always
Be sitting there for days.
100% let you cross the road because I'm considerate. People first.
Well, with that, we should really wrap things up for the week. Melissa, it's your turn. You didn't get to say goodbye last time, so it's your turn.
Have a wicked good week, and we will see you or talk to you next week.
On Fort Hood's Great Big Podcast.
Yeah, we out.
Driving down the road again. Tar starts thinning and cracks crumble to gravel lines. Just on the travel